Okay, so here's the figure without paint and just straight out of the box. I'm gonna start off by grabbing some black acrylic and just goop it all over. I'm gonna grab a wet paintbrush and start spreading that around. Just kind of want to coat everything. Okay, so now it's mostly dry, and that means we're going to start off with making a lighter shade of black, also known as gray. Shit. Yeah, that's about enough. That was too much black, but it'll work anyways. Can you tell I'm a professional now? Let's see, mix that up. And then we're gonna do some, what's it called, dry brushing work, which means instead of having it all goopy, I'm gonna grab a cloth, wipe most of it off. That way, it only hits the highest portions of the texture, and it'll leave like a darker shadow. So again, dip it in there, wipe it off. Messed up a bit there, but I'm just gonna blend it back in. Now that we have a nice gray all over it, I'm gonna dip the paintbrush in some white. And this time I'm gonna use even less, so I'll wipe it as much as I can, kind of until that anything's on it. Then I'm gonna hit the fins, because I want these to be a little lighter than the rest of the body, kind of stand out more. Just gently touch them. Like a priest. Forgot to get the inside of the spines, but that's fine. Could fix that right now. Yeah, I think that's what I'm looking for. Just want the very tips of it to be that nice white, kind of like the older Godzillas. And now you can really see like all the detail that Playmates actually put into this figure, which is nice compared to their first wave. I really hope they keep going in this direction, man. And now we can jump on to some other colors aside from black and white. Alright, so I'm going to use a yellow ochre deep. This color, I'm using this color. It's acrylic, just like the last paint. And just like the last paint, I'm going to drizzle some on here. Oh god. Alright, that's enough, right? Yeah. And let's see, I'm gonna dip it in here. Just like before, gonna just lightly dip the paintbrush in it, wipe off most of it. Then that means a very little bit is gonna make onto the figure. And I'm gonna slowly build this up until it looks like I want it to look. Ooh, well, I still have the white paint right here. We're gonna grab another paintbrush, wipe off most of it, and I'm gonna try to hit these teeth. Yep, just like that. Godzilla. Oh wow, they're actually individually sculpted. That is nice. It's not just one giant segment like on most vinyls. It's actually little dots that make up the teeth. And I'm gonna hit the top of the head with extra white, kind of make those eyebrows pop out a little more. And I'm gonna take a minute to figure out what color I want the rest I want to add. Before I actually painted the teeth, I actually should have painted the inside of the mouth. So this is apple barrel bright magenta. Fuck, I thought it was pink the whole time. Anyways, I like this color for mouths because it's kind of purple and kind of pink, and that was too much paint. I'm gonna dry brush it. I'm just trying to get rid of the thickness of the paint, and I'm gonna start shoving it in that mouth. Alright, now I'm gonna grab some red. That was too much red, but who cares? Pretty wet paintbrush. I'm gonna get this goopy red juice. Then I'm gonna put that in the mouth. So you turn your back up. And you see how it kind of pulls up around the tongue? It's gonna kind of make all the little details pop out a bit more. And it was pretty easy to do. Okay, now we're on to the hard part, which is painting these tiny fucking eyes. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use a sculpting tool. This is like a silicone little nipple stabber. I don't like it sculpting, but it's pretty good for painting small things. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna dip this in gold paint, add a little dot right here, and then I'll use another little dot and do the pupil. That way it looks like a little silver ring. So again, acrylic. Dip it in there. Then I'm gonna shove my butt really close to this thing so I could really tell what I'm doing. Let's dip it on here to make sure it does dot. I think I like that. Let's see if the camera's not picking it up too well. But let's see. To clean up the eyes, I'm gonna grab a paintbrush. Let's see if I can find the one I like. Yeah, this one will do. It's still a little wet, which is nice. And I'm gonna go wherever I touched it a little too much. Oh, actually, let's do a little black wash. So I'm gonna water down the black a lot. That way it's gonna make its way around the little edges and creases, and it will kind of cover up my mistakes. No, you can never tell how messy I was. You can see it kind of rests in what. Oh, right here. This is a good spot to do the black wash. See how I kind of went over with the gray too much? Just add some of that watered down black paint and it'll go back in the little recesses. That's what it's called. Cracks, whatever they're called. We could also do this with the mouth. I already did it with red, but for the teeth it might be nice to add a little bit more of that. Then kind of just wipe away the excess. And I think all that's left here is to work on those teeth again. Okay, so again, just like before, paintbrush, drop some paint, dip it in the white, wipe off most of it, that way it hits the highest spots. So you can see you already had some black paint splashed onto it. We'll just call that battle damage. But I'm gonna dip out some black paint right there. Gonna grab a wet paintbrush and water it down a bit more. And just go ham on this thing. So I want to cover it completely. Every spot is going to be covered in black. This plastic doesn't seem to be liking it too much, but that's fine because we're going to wipe most of it off anyways. Usually you're supposed to use a napkin or something. Your hands work pretty well. And just like that, you see all the black paint just stays in little crevices and so on. Then in a second, I'll just paint the tracks black and call it done. And before I call it done, I'm gonna fuck with the box a little. Cause I like to have them stand in the box on the wall. So I'm gonna start off by trying to cut off this tape. That way I can take out all that plastic shit right there. Next, I'm gonna grab this, and I'm gonna use this. This is called plastic canvas. Yeah, brain slow today. Anyways, I'm gonna cut that out into a strip, just like that. And can you see where I'm going with this? It's gonna be a building. So here's a strip. Gonna lay it down. And then let's do like a weird, nice diagonal weird cut like that. Rip it apart. Okay, so I got the plastic pieces just how I want them. Gonna grab a hot glue gun. Goop a little bit on it. Spread that around. Then give that a second to cool down. Also just splash some water on it to make it cool down a lot faster. Let's see. And what I'm gonna do next is basically just melt these two pieces because the glue doesn't work that well with it, but melting them together sure as hell does. And now all that's left is to just glue these things in. Just gonna add a little dab of hot glue at the bottom. Line up where I want it. Shove that right in there. Try not to burn my fingers. And ta-da!